When I was in 8th grade, I started using AOL Instant Messaging, and I learned about all sorts of slang terminology and acronyms like LOL for laugh out loud. And I really liked it because sometimes you would have a very disappointing situation. Maybe you just broke up with your girlfriend and you're talking about it on AOL Instant Messaging. And these acronyms kind of made everything seem a little bit more lighthearted than it had to be. I really liked having an acronym or slang terminology for various things. Now, fast forward 20 years later, I needed to take control of my eating habits. 2 years ago, my eating habits were way out of control. 2020, I made a resolution to normalize my relationship with food. And obviously, at the beginning, there were a lot of changes for the better and for the challenging, right? So I came up with some terminology to help me get through some of the most difficult times. So early on, I learned never to treat fasting as depriving yourself of food, but to treat it as a vacation away from food. And sometimes vacations are also a good time to fast because you're not missing the social cues that normally tell you to eat, right? At your workplace, you get to a certain task and, oh, this is my lunchtime, right? Or at home on a Saturday, you get to a certain chore and this is a lunchtime for me. And I didn't have to deal with that when I go on vacation. And so when I fast while on vacation, I call it going on a fastcation. And I tried to go on a fastcation to Wallace, but I ended up having to stay 2 days longer than I wanted to because of weather. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to pull a full fastcation. I hope to do a complete fastcation to Wallace one day. I've already done a couple to Ellensburg, and I really liked it. I hope when I can get better at fasting, I hope to travel much further places without eating, right? Imagine I could go to Taiwan, where my family is, and spend a week there and really enjoy the culture of Taiwan without eating. Oh my God, I can only imagine all the wonders that would come to life, right? When I'm in a fasted state, everything seems much more fun, right? I would imagine going to theme parks over there. There's my favorite theme park is in Taichung. Going there, and I hope to travel to Taiwan during the summer solstice because Taichung is just on the Tropic of Cancer, and I want to see the sun directly overhead. And if I can go on a fastcation there, it would simplify a lot of things, right? I wouldn't have to hesitate about how I'm going to travel in Taichung and find foods that are suitable for me and all that. And so I call that a fastcation. Now, a special case of a fastcation is one day when I'm terminally ill or for some reason it's time for me to check out of the world. If I go on a fast for a month or two until I fade away and die, right? There are people who do that, actually. I've read, it's a religious practice almost, it seems like. But they usually do a dry fast, so they go much more quicker than a few months. I'd rather do a few months because I feel so lightweight and happy-go-lucky, even when I go on a water fast, right, with minerals, so that I think with water and minerals you can go about 50 days, depending on your fat stores, obviously. I probably couldn't go 50 days anymore. But I feel so happy-go-lucky. I'd rather enjoy 50 days than to just to dehydrate yourself in 3 days, right? And so the idea of fasting until you end up in heaven, I call that a fasting grand finale. And I named that after Cassini grand finale, right? Cassini Cassini took a fast away from having vacuum, right? And went on a grand finale back in 2017 Now, because I feel so happy-go-lucky when I'm 16, 24 hours into fasting, sometimes I like to fast ahead of a stressful event, right? I have a meeting with my boss, I'm going on a first date, going on vacation, I'll fast ahead of that. And when I do that, I call it taking an air pill antidepressant, right? It's like an antidepressant, but it's an invisible pill, and I just swallow it, right? Now, sometimes I'll want to spend time with friends, but I don't want to partake in the food, right? I'll go to a party and still hold the conversation, but I'm fasting, right? Or I'll go to a game club tournament, a workplace event, and I'll still enjoy the company of others, but except for the food, right? I call that eating an invisible meal, right? And so I still enjoy all the other wonders of life, right? Because let's face it, our diet isn't just what we put in our mouths, right? It's also what we get out of our lives. A lot of people don't seem to understand that concept. Now, sometimes when I go on these long fasts, right, 24 hours, 48 hours, sometimes I do multiples of those in a month or in a week. And at the end of the month, I'm very surprised how little money I spent on food, and I have all this extra money to do other things like upgrade my computer. I write computer games, like going bowling. I recently took up bowling, among other things, or going on Fastcations and all that. So the money I save from not eating when I'm fasting, I call that a fasting dividend, right? I just got my fasting dividend of $150 this month, right? Sometimes I call it a fasting stimulus, depending on what I end up doing with the money. Now, I like to fast for various people's birthdays. So I recently did one for Ewelina Falenta. She's the second place runner-up of Polish Idol Season 1. And the reason I like her is that she doesn't let being single stop her from doing everything in life, right? And she's on board with how single lives matter. In Poland, it's a little bit easier than here in the United States. There's a lot less judgment. People understand that everybody enjoys their lives differently. And so when I go on a fast for somebody's birthday, because all life on earth is related, or we're all one big family, right? So sometimes I'll say, oh, today's my distant cousin's birthday, right? She turns 42. I better fast for her, right? So I call other people my distant cousins, right? Anyway, I love terminology like this. It keeps me going, right? As long as it can keep me fasting, and sometimes, during the middle of a fast, there could be challenges, and if I just stay strong with my vocabulary, sometimes it helps me keep going.